Lee, back in Super League and back at the Wigan Warriors. How have you enjoyed the first few months, back at the Wigan Warriors?
They've been very enjoyable. Obviously, in Australia, I didn't have it didn't go to plan, so to speak. I had a couple of injuries which kept me out of action, and I think there's nothing worse than being sort of segregated from the other boys. You're in your own doing your rehab while they're on the field, and I think that's been really enjoyable just to get out on the field with the lads, and obviously back with a good few mates of mine.
Were you more frustrated than disappointed it didn't go to plan when you went out there, or was it a mixture of the two?
Yeah, I think frustration's the main one. Obviously, I knew before I got there that I needed to get my shoulder sorted. It had been sort of holding me back for nearly 2 years, to be honest, and there was just never a good time to get it done. I wanted to play as much as I can, and once you have the surgery, it's sort of 3 to 6 months on the sideline, so I didn't want to do that. But when I signed for Parramatta, they were good. They said, listen, you're going to be here for 3 years, we'll get it sorted now and we'll take it from there. And it was all going to plan. I got back a bit earlier than expected, about round 8, and then just one of them things that happens in life, my other side dislocated and needed that operated on, so it was very frustrating. But at the same time, I'm real sort of easy to say that I regretted doing it, so to speak, when it wasn't like that at all. I've gone there, I've experienced something different. Albeit maybe 3 games, but I played 3 games in the NRL. I've tested myself against different players, and I'm definitely glad I did it still.
So when Wigan came in and made their interest in bringing you back to the club, that must have been incredibly a happy moment for you, your family, and also a bit of a relief as well that that there was an option on the table for you there to come back to Super League and have another good go at Super League.
It was, yeah. I'm real thankful to Wigan, to be honest. It was never something that was pre-planned. I come back here for a 6-week holiday, and I booked all my flights to go back, start pre-season with Para. And it's just the longer and longer I was back here, I was thinking more, and I was seeing how much more happy my wife was. Our first child had just been born, so she was around the grandparents, and sort of every day that went past, I was convincing myself more and more to stay back. And as I say, I'd come into Wigan a few days a week to do my rehab whilst I was back, and it's just a last minute thing really. I was just having a chat with Sean, and I just said that I was contemplating staying back in Super League, and there was a couple of clubs that had approached me, and I told him straight that I'd love to come back to Wigan. That was always the plan after the 2 or 3 years, and he was great. Him and Chris Radlinski and the owner Ian Lenigan, they got straight to it, and it was sorted within maybe a week and a half. And as I say, I'm real thankful for them to give me the opportunity at so short notice, to come back to a great club and play with a lot of mates who I love.
We've seen with Joel that he went away to Union and came back. And we've seen with Sam that the door's open for a bit of a return there for Sam Tompkins, and he calls in whenever he's in the country to keep things ticking over on the training side. What is it about Wigan and the Wigan club that always kind of leaves that door open, always encourages people to come back?
To be honest, it's a good question. I couldn't put what it is. I think the players that you just mentioned there with Joel and Sam, they were sort of, there's a group of us who all come through together. Well, more so Sam, meaning we signed at the same time, went through the 18s and the 20s, and it was just that natural progression. There was a core group of us of maybe 6-7 players, and that was the toughest part of leaving them mates, your best mates, when you're with them more than your family, 9-10 hours a day, and you get real attached. And that was, for me, that was the main thing that pulled me back. The times that we've enjoyed at Wigan, more so in the last year as I left, we won the double, and the memories that you'll never forget, and the bonds you build with these players and coaches, there's something pretty special. So for me personally, that was what brought me back.
Has the place changed much while you've been away? I know it's not exactly been an incredible amount of time, but have you seen, obviously some new faces in the camp? Talk us through where you think that the club has moved on, evolved, that kind of thing.
I think they're always trying to develop the culture at Wigan, and if you want to keep winning trophies, that's what you have to keep doing. You have to keep striving to be better, and You touched on it there. I think the main difference is there's a few new faces. When I left, there was me, Sam, Pat and Chris Towson. We all left at the same time, and there's a few personalities there, and I think that's what one of the main differences is, just sort of a new group of players. But since I've been back, they've been great. I get on well with them, and I'm looking forward to playing with them.
For Wigan, last year, I suppose, was a fairly unsuccessful year by Wigan's high standards, you know, for a successful club. This year, I suppose the target is to turn those performances in those semi-finals and finals into trophies again.
Yeah, well, the goal is to win all three. As you say there, for a club like Wigan, from what we've had in the previous 4 or 5 years, with grand finals and challenge cups and league leaders, to win nothing, that's classed as a failure, and we've all been made aware of that. Sean sat us down and said that it wasn't good enough. In the grand final, obviously things happened in that, and we still pushed St Helens till the last couple of minutes. So, but as I said, we never won it. They're the champions. They fully deserve the win, and that's something we wanted to put right this year. And that started day one. It was constantly rammed into us how they won nothing last year, and as I say, the goal this year is to win all three, and anything less than that is a failure.
Finally, I guess when you pull on the cherry and white again and run out here, that'll be a pretty special moment. It's kind of gone full circle. You know, you're back at the club where you enjoyed so much success.
It is, yeah. It's definitely a privilege to play for this club. I've had a dark 12 months, so to speak, with injuries, and I'm over the moon to be back at a club which I love, with players who I love, and yeah, I'm looking forward to pulling that shirt back on and playing the best I can.